hello, and welcome back to my channel. I am your psychic channel, medium, spiritual guide and teacher, and voice of truth. And I want to thank you so much for tuning in. We are talking about something near and dear to my heart, which is human design. Many of you have found me through human design. I've been in the system and teaching it and reading charts for over a decade. Yes, a very long time. I know I look 15. No, just kidding. So I've been reading human design charts for over a decade. I'm a human design expert, human design teacher. So I want to start my series off on human design so you can learn about human design. Now, I also have a bunch of episodes on my podcast, Is My Aura on Straight, where you can learn about human design. Today, we're going to be talking about human design profiles. Now, human design profiles are my jam. I absolutely love them. So when you think about human design profiles, I want you to think about any patterns in your life, the how you do stuff, the how you interact with people, how you communicate with people, or how you process information, or even how you learn and how you teach and how you do things. Your human design profile can show you how you interact in your career, in your relationships, both platonic and romantic, and in different situations. Sometimes you always show up in a certain way. Sometimes you process information in a certain way. That is your human design profile. Your human design profile is not something random. It is part of your unique design. It shows you how you do things. I can't emphasize that enough because it's the how. Now, there are two numbers in the human design profile. You have your conscious number and then your unconscious number. You cannot have one without the other. And many times people get tripped up with their human design profiles because they're leaning into one number versus both of them. And that gets them stuck. And it also gets you very frustrated, especially when it comes to your strategy and your authority, which we'll talk about in another video. Your human design profile is like the genre of your life story, just like a movie or a romance novel and how it unfolds. And there's different acts and there's different things that happen, beginning, middle, and end. Your human design profile is something that unfolds in your life story, on your life's journey. And as you start off as adolescents to teen to a young adult to adult, then after the age of 40, 45, things transpire and they change with your human design profile. I want to let you know that your human design profile is not about putting you in a box. It's about showing you your natural tendencies so that you can thrive in the way you do things. Before we dive into each specific profile, let's talk about what the profiles are made of. Your profile consists of two numbers, also known as lines, and they are unconscious and conscious. Specifically, those two lines come from your conscious sun, which is your personality, and your unconscious sun, which is your design. I want you to think about these two lines as two instruments that are in a band. Every instrument has its own job and function to add to the melody, but they cannot work without the other. They take away from the music, they take away from the symphony, and that is exactly how it is for your human design profile. Now, the first number in your profile is how you naturally interact in your daily life. It's something that naturally comes to you. It is the things that you do naturally, whether you process information naturally, how you interact with other people naturally, how you think about things naturally, how you process stress, how you process anger. You're going to do that with the first line, which is your conscious line that comes easily and naturally to you. Now, your second line that you have is unconscious, and that is a little bit more challenging to tap into. And the reason for that it's a little bit more challenging to tap into is it's because it's something that is unconsciously in your design. And when something is unconscious in your design, it is my opinion that that is the lesson that you're supposed to learn in this lifetime and something that you have to grow into. Not a bad thing. It's just something that you're going to learn how to merge, and I'll show you how to do that during this video. Before we get into the actual profiles, let's talk about the 6 lines and their themes. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And each of those lines have themes, and those lines individually mean something, and when they put together, they are your profile. Let's talk about line one. Line one is the investigator. And if you have a line one in your profile, that means that you are here to investigate and to do foundational things. You have a foundational energy. So this energy is about building security and understanding and researching things that you want to know about or that people are also bringing to you. So I want you to also understand, as line ones, you're here to create solid foundations before you move forward. So a line one person, if they have one line in their profile, they're going to have to research it and get to know the ins and the outs before they move forward. They're also here to share the knowledge that they have attained once they do learn everything. So if you know someone with a line one, or if you do have a line one, you are the person that everybody probably comes to because you have a lot of knowledge. Then they're also here to establish systems. So the line one is somebody who can establish systems within chaos. They are here to establish structures within chaos, or just to set us up in the world to do things right. Then we have line two. Some people call it the Hermit. I like to say that line two people are introvert, extrovert kind of people because they are naturally gifted at their need for solitude and their need to develop. So they go in, they think about things, they're very introspective, and then they come out and let us know what they found or what type of situations they have found. So the line two person is really here to develop gifts in privacy. So what that means is that a line two person really likes to understand how they process things and what it means to them. And they take situations and they think about them internally, and then they'll come back to you and let you know how they feel. They also are people who share their talents when they are called upon. So meaning a line two might not come out right away and share their talents, their gifts, or anything like that. They will wait until they are pulled out to do those things. Nothing wrong with that. I love a line two. Now they move from being extremely social to being like not wanting to be bothered with anyone. They're like, I don't feel like dealing with this. I don't want to be bothered with anyone. And then people have to trust their natural timing for engagement, because as a line two, like I said, they like to come out, be the life of the party, and then go back in. So they're the person, in my opinion, the line, or somebody who has a line two, they will come out to the party and go party like all weekend, and then you won't see them for like a month because they've just done too much, or they're like, oh, I had so many experiences, I need to chill out. So that's what the line two does. Then you have the line three, which some people call the Martyr. I just like to say that it's experimental energy. The line three has to experiment. As a line three, the line three learns from direct experience. So anytime the line three tells you that they've tried something or they don't like it, they are speaking facts because they've already done it. The line three has to experience before they can say yes or no. So they discover what doesn't work for them and what does work for them by experimenting. The resilience that a line three has is for a reason. The line three has experienced a lot of trial and experience, or trial and error. They also learn how to use that experience that they've gained from doing that thing to let other people know about it. I'm a line three. I'm a 3-5. So I love seeing line three people. Next, you have line four people. Line fours, you frustrate me so much. Line fours are opportunists, and not in a bad way. The line four person is here to network and be influential. You are here to design, to create, and maintain connections. That is part of your destiny here in this lifetime. When you don't do that, your life is going to be very frustrating. I tell line fours all the time, reach out to your community, ask your community, just request things from your community. You're here to have influence through your relationships. That is your bread and butter, your relationships. You're here to share other opportunities with other people through your relationships. You're here to build bridges between people and possibilities based off of your network. So when line fours always come to me, whether it's in coaching or a session, and they're like, oh, things are just not working out, I don't know what to do next step. I'm like, look to your community, look to your relationships, look to all of the people that you have built over these years. That's what you're supposed to be doing. If you don't take anything away from this video, please take away that you are here to build connections and have relationships and use those relationships for your advancement and for the advancement of others. So if you have a 4 line in your profile, the 5 line, I love a 5 line. Like I said, I'm a 3-5. The 5 line is the Heretic, and this is about transformative problem-solving energy. So the line 5, they're here to see solutions to the big picture, to universal problems, or as I like to say, I made up a word, they're here to philosophize. They're here to navigate high expectations from others. They're here to transform systems and situations, and they're here to lead through practical solutions. The line 5 is really here, as I like to say, to pull out their soapbox and go stand on it and tell people everything that they know, everything that they've learned over the years, and that's what they're best at. Then you have line 6, which is the role model. And this line brings a lot of evolutionary cyclical energy. So they're here to move through life phases. They're here to learn, observe, and experience. They're here to become a natural authority over time. It's not overnight success for a 6th line. They're here to share wisdom out of a place of objectivity, meaning that you'll hear a lot of human design people talking about 6 lines being on the roof. That is when they are here to show us how things should be done and their objections. And they's like, oh, I see it this way. I always go to my 6 line friends when I needed an objective viewpoint on something, because they're able to, just like projectors, look in and see situations, but they do it from a very different lens. They're doing it from a place of being able to, how can I put this? They see both sides. They play a lot of devil's advocate sometimes. Sometimes it's very annoying, but it's very helpful. Let's talk about all of the profiles. There are 12 profiles, so we're going to go through each of the profiles. So first we have profile 1-3 is the investigative martyr. The 1-3 profile combines the investigative line of 1 and the experimental line of 3. I love a 1-3 because they are a natural researcher and they are a natural experimenter. So think of this profile as like a scientific investigator who needs both research and action and experience to get to a conclusion. So when these lines work together, the 1 provides a foundational skill to thoroughly investigate the topics, and then the 3 line has the courage to test the information that they've learned. Now, the problem with 1-3 sometimes is they get too caught up in the investigation side and they never go and experiment. If you are a 1-3, the 1-3 individual is designed to be secure in the knowledge that they've learned, both through deep research and deep human personal experience. You cannot have one without the other. If you are a 1-3 and you find yourself getting very just caught up in the investigation side, take a pause and go out and experience and experiment with what you learned, and then go back to investigating. Before starting anything new, the 1 line needs to feel a natural pull to something. They need to have a natural interest in something. They need to want to research and want to dive deep into a topic, into a subject. If they don't, it's not going to be beneficial for them to just research a topic and go try it out. They're best when they want to test their findings, when they want to have direct experiences. Some of their natural gifts for a 1 line is the ability to combine theoretical knowledge with practical experience. They also have a deep understanding that is built through, like I said, research and trial and error. And they have the capacity to share thoroughly validated information. So a 1-3 1-3 is always going to know a lot of the ins and outs of something, and then it makes it even better if they've experimented with it. The relationship dynamics with a 1-3 in relationships, which I think this is really important, both platonic, romantic, and career relationships, professional, is they have both depth and authenticity. They need partners who understand their need to investigate thoroughly before acting on anything. They need people who can support them through their experimental learning process. They often make excellent problem solvers in the relationship because they combine their research with practical solutions. So some career paths that 1-3s can do, because they require both practical solutions and like experience. So anything that has to do with testing, product research, product developing, prototyping stuff, starting something new, consultants, educational things where they can study something and then go out and teach it, entrepreneurs that do a lot of research and then they can launch something. So that's why I like 1-3s. Now 1-4s. 1-4s are the investigating opportunists. So the 1-4 combines that one line research with that 4 networking possibilities. The profile kind of brings together a deep knowledge and then a ability to want to share it with tons of people. The 1 line is going to research everything, and then the 4 line wants to go and tell everybody about it, wants to go tell their network, their village, all their people about what they've learned. When they come together, they're able to be natural learners and natural like teachers and people who want to share. When it comes to the 1-4 line, these individuals, I like to say, are designed to build safe foundations of knowledge through their relationships and connections. They naturally research thoroughly and then find themselves in positions that kind of share findings of their networks and their relationships. Some of their natural gifts are the ability to share well researched information. They have natural networking abilities. They're able to back things up with solid information. A 1-4 is never going to go to a networking party if they don't know what majority of the people are there to like who are talking about stuff. And they also have the capacity to connect with others that have valuable information. They also have talents for building foundations through relationships. In relationships, I like to say that 1-4s need partners who appreciate their thorough investigative abilities, but also appreciate their natural networking abilities. The 4 line can be the life of the party, but sometimes it's confusing to their partners because sometimes their partners see them in the 1 phase a lot, which is the investigative part, being behind the scenes. And then when they're out, they're out. They're like, here I am, I'm doing my thing. So they need relationships with people who are able to see both sides of them and to appreciate that. And some of the career paths that I like to say for 1-4s would definitely be any type of business consultant, any type of, I love 1-4s who are like part of industries like event planning or real estate, something where they have to use their network or they have to use research to get, the big picture done. They're very great sales professionals, 1-4s. They offer a lot to any type of career that, and I hate to say this, 1-4s are very good at network marketing. Any 4 line is going to be good at network marketing. So if you have a 4 line and you've ever tried or wanted to try network marketing, go for it. Let's talk about line 2-4, which is the Hermit Opportunist. This profile line combines the natural abilities of the 2 and the networking abilities of the 4. I want you to think about this profile as being a talented artist that develops their gifts in private and goes paints and then puts on a show at an art gallery. This profile creates a fascinating rhythm between periods of private development and social sharing. That's why I use an artist, someone who goes within, goes in their lair, and they paint. And then they come out and they show you all of the things that they painted at an art gallery or a show, because they need that quiet time of doing their thing, and then they need that foreline of networking. Their natural talents are going to be honed in private times by themselves through introspection. They have the ability to share their gifts through organic connections, and they have the capacity to move between solitude and social interactions very easily. It just depends on where they're at in their hermit kind of process. They have a talent for knowing as well when to emerge and when to come out of the shadows. In relationships, the 2-4 needs partners who kind of understand their need for privacy, but also appreciates their need to network, similar to the 1-4. They thrive in relationships that allow them space to develop their gifts, allow them space to develop their talents, and then go out and support their networking abilities. Career paths, like I said, artists who create by themselves and then come out and play, writers who work alone are great 2-4s, specialists who need to develop their expertise or anything over time to come out and teach, and counselors or consultants who combine deep insights with natural relationship building, or anything where you can build relationships after you have studied something or been within your introspective phase. Let's talk about the 2-5. The 2-5 is that Hermit Heretic. I really like a 2-5 profile because the 2-5 has the ability to universally solve a problem and then be a gifted problem solver who combines natural genius of the line of the 2 with the universal problem solving of the line 5. And so I want you to imagine sort of like a gifted problem solver who needs privacy to develop a solution, but they'll come out, pull out their soapbox, and then tell the world about what they found. This profile kind of combines the natural talent and transformative capacity. The line 2 provides their inherent gifts and their need to develop, and the need to their space to develop. And the line 5, like I said, it brings the ability to see and to solve universal problems and see what everybody needs. So with this profile line, these individuals kind of you're designed to develop your natural problem solving abilities in privacy. You emerge and offer solutions when recognized. So they often face high expectations from others while needing to maintain their private space for development. Some of the natural gifts of the 2-5 are natural talent for seeing and solving problems, ability to develop solutions in private, capacity to transform situations when they are called upon. When you pull them out of their little quiet space, they have those solutions for you. They have a very skilled way of navigating others' projections and expectations. A 2-5 is not going to let you project on them because they're like, that's not what we're doing over here. In relationships, 2-5s, they need partners who can understand their privacy while also their need for you to their partner to support them for problem solving abilities. And they often need partners who will respect their boundaries, because remember, they have this private side of them, and then they have this really I'm going to go out, take my soapbox, talk about it with everybody kind of thing as well. So some of the career paths for 2-5s that I love to see them in: system architects, research, consultants, therapists. I love a 2-5 therapist. I love a therapist anyway with a 5 line anyway. So that's that. Then you have the 3-5, my specialty because I'm a 3-5, which is the Martyr Heretic. So the 3-5 profile is very interesting because you have the 3rd line, which is about trial and experience, and then you have the 5 line, which is about universal problem solving. What happens is that sometimes the 3-5 person, the 5 line, they go out and they want to philosophize, as I like to say, without trying things, and that's what gets them a lot of backlash and a lot of they hit a lot of walls with people with that. So I like to tell 3-5s is that you have to try it first, and then you can go out and tell everybody what you experience. Anytime there's a 3-5 And people are like, oh, you don't know that you make so many definitive statements. 3/5s have tried it. They've been there, done that. So when they make a definitive statement, that is their experience. So that is true. For instance, I will not date Cancer men. Been there, done that several times, got the same result. That's a wrap for me. Okay. So 3/5s, their profile brings together hands-on learning, hands-on experience with the ability to solve universal problems. The 3 line is their courage, their resilience, because they've tried, they've failed, they've tried, they succeeded. And then the 5 line brings the capacity to see and address larger issues. With the 3/5, these individuals are designed to discover solutions through experience and through experimentation. So they often face high expectations while going through a process of trial and experience. 3/5s have a way of putting a lot of pressure on themselves. The natural gifts of a 3/5 are ability to find solutions through direct experience, capacity to transform systems through practical testing, and resilience in facing failure and expectations. Also, they have a talent for sharing proven solutions because remember, the 3/5 has been there, done that. In relationships, the 3/5 needs partners who can support their experimental nature while also understanding the pressures they face from others' projections. 5 lines also get very projected on. They project on people, they also get projected on. There's a lot of projections on 5 lines. People put 5 lines sometimes in this on a pedestal sometimes, and then when it doesn't meet their expectations, they get very disappointed. 3/5s also often attract others seeking solutions while the 3/5 is still working on their process. So that happens all the time. So I always tell 3/5s, if you are a 3/5, and especially if you are a service provider, if you are a teacher, consultant, it's okay for you to go ahead and teach the thing while you're learning it because people are always going to be attracted to you while you're going through an experience. Some of my favorite careers for 3/5s are, of course, entrepreneurs who learn through direct experience, consultants who are very, very innovative, who test and refine solutions, people who are change agents, thought leaders who transform through practical experience, and researchers who combine experimentation with insight. Then you have the 3/6 profile, the martyr role model. And so the 3/6 combines a experimental line and also a line of experimental wisdom. So what I find is sometimes 3/6s have trouble experimenting just to experiment because remember, they're eventually going to become a guide and a leader for some other people at some part of their journey, but they have to experiment first. So this profile line, these lines kind of create this personal discovery to leading to universal wisdom. So the 3 line combines that capacity for learning and experimenting, and then the 6 line brings like this huge, like natural authority that comes along, but they have to do the 3 before they can get to the 6. And so these individuals are designed to learn through direct experience, moving through distinct phases of life that kind of transform their personal experiences and their wisdoms for other people that they learn. Some of the natural gifts of a 3/6, they have the ability to transform experience into wisdom. And they have the capacity to learn deeply through trial and error. They also have a natural evolution process towards their role model status. So a 3/6 is always going to become a role model over time. And then they have a talent for sharing lived experience through guidance. In a relationship, I like to say that the 3/6 needs partners who can support their experimental phase, also while understanding that their experimental phase is going to turn into leadership at some point. So they need support while they are learning and while they're also leading. And so they often become relationship guides for others who are going through their own experience. I like to say 3/6s would be great, like couples therapy people, couples coaches. They make great life coaches, great teachers. They make great mentors. They also make great authors. So I really like 3/6s in those kind of experimenting and then guiding others kind of facet. Then you have Profile 4-1. Profile 4-1 is the Opportunist Investigator. 4-1s are interesting, okay? For various reasons. The 4-1 combines the networking abilities with the research. Here's where 4-1s I find, based off of me working with a lot of profile types over the years, is that the 4-1 has a very interesting dynamic between their social and their opportunistic energies. So the line 4 works hand in hand with the investigative line, but sometimes that can get really complicated because the 4 line provides this natural networking, natural connection, this natural capacity to see where all these opportunities are. And then a line 1 brings drive to research thoroughly and build solid foundations. So they're almost working backwards in a way. So it's like having a social butterfly who also has to verify things. And so for the 4-1, that can be very frustrating because I find that when 4-1s operate in that manner, which is natural to them, sometimes they don't trust themselves. Because I personally believe that the 4 line in general, whatever profile that you have, is a very intuitive line because it is about connections and it's about opportunities. The 4 line has to be very in tune with their body, with their mind, with their soul to know that these connections that they have are actually beneficial to them and they can be a benefit to someone else, and that there's like this connection there. When it comes to 4-1, sometimes the issue is really about that one line not knowing the facts and not knowing the foundation, and then that gets them tripped up. If you're a 4-1, try and trust yourself more because you are here to build connections and also share your well-researched knowledge, but don't let your lack of knowledge get in the way of your connections. Okay? So some of your natural gifts, of course, ability to network and then verify that information. You have a natural talent for connecting with others through research, through knowledge. You have the capacity to build foundations through relationships. You have the skills to combine social opportunities with deep understandings. And you have the talent for sharing lots of complex ideas and situations to make them accessible to so many people. In relationships, the 4-1 needs somebody who's a social butterfly and also has depth to them. The 4-1, it may look like that they are surface level individuals, but they are not. They need partners who understand their drive to get to the bottom of things, also while building connections. So they often serve as trusted sources for their relationships, for connecting people through verified information and opportunities. So their relationships, they need partners who respect their need to investigate before making moves. That's the biggest thing. Now, some of the career paths for 4-1, any type of recruitment, technical advisor, academic advisors, business consultants, brokers who have knowledge, all of that, industry analysts, building networks, all of those things are very good for 4-1. Then you have the 4-6. Now, the 4-6 is my biggest, how can I put this? I love a 4-6, but 4-6s frustrate me just like manifesting generators do. The 4-6 combines the networking abilities of the line 4 and then the authority and role model of the line 6. So this person is well connected, they are wise, they are a teacher, they are all things. However, the 4-6 also, in my opinion, holds themselves back the most. They have this big network of people, and then they have all of this knowledge with the 6, but they are afraid to use it. I have found so often that 4-6s do something to themselves where they don't feel like they have anything to offer people. And they're very afraid to use their networks. And that is not the case. Anytime I've ever read a 4-6 chart or coached a 4-6, your network is your net worth, just like everyone else. But for 4-6, that is your lifeline. That is your livelihood. That is what pumps in the blood, the connections that you make. And I always tell 4-6s who have the tendency to self-sabotage that they always can recover, just like anyone else. But a 4-6 can recover from their self-sabotage. So they're designed to build connections and share their wisdom from their past life experiences, and they serve as social catalysts while developing deeper perspectives through life experiences. Some of the natural gifts are 4-6. They have the ability to connect with anybody. They can just go in and adapt. I love that about a 4-6. They have natural networking abilities that evolve over time. They have the capacity to develop insights and share thoughtful things and resources, and they have a talent for bringing people together. Now, in relationships, the 4-6, in my opinion, they need partners who can nurture their social nature and their nature to be change. And this sometimes gets 4-6s frustrated in relationships because they are changing a lot, not like drastic, like Tuesday they're this, Friday they're that. It's more about an evolutionary process. So who a 4-6 was, let's say 2 years ago, is not who they are now with anybody who's growing, but the 4-6 is a little bit more drastic. So they need people who can understand their outgoing nature and also their big evolution. Some of the careers that I love for 4-6s, any type of leadership, any type of communications, business, networks, social entrepreneur, anything that builds relationships. So they can probably do so many things. The 4-6 has the ability to do a lot of things. And as long as it has to do with building relationships of some sort, they will excel at it. Then you have the 5-1. Oh, my 5-1 people, or as I like to call you, Captain Saver, you know what. The 5-1 is a great profile line. You have the research component of the 1, and you have the problem solving of the 5. Now, 5 lines can be projected on, and people can look to 5 lines to save them from themselves, from situations. The 5-1 profile has the biggest issue with saving everyone because everybody looks to them as having all the answers, that they are problem solvers. So they're able to bring together the capacity to see what is needed, what needs to be changed, what needs to be done. However, they also get looked at, yeah, like the 5-1s have, I'm not gonna lie, 5-1s really have it hard. And that's because everyone looks to them to take care of, to make things happen, or like, oh, she'll handle it, or she'll figure it out for us. That's how the 5-1 is. But they are naturally gifted at seeing and researching problems. They have the capacity for well-researched solutions. They have a talent for navigating projections while also investigating. And they also have a real skill for sharing thoroughly validated solutions. Now, in relationships, the 5-1, in my opinion, needs partners that can solve problems for them because they're always solving problems for other people. So they need to seek people who can help them investigate, who can help them solve problems. And some of the roles that 5-1s excel in, anything that has to do with research, policy, analytical things, investigative journalism. Oh, I love a 5-1 investigative journalist. And technical experts, anything that's complex. Next is the 5-2, the Heretic Hermit. The 5-2 combines the problem-solving abilities of the 5 and the natural genius of the 2. I want you to think of this profile as a naturally gifted problem solver who needs privacy to develop their solutions. It's like, I'm a genius, but I need to like fall back and do my genius thing without everybody watching. This profile creates a fascinating dynamic between solving universal problems and needing privacy to develop the solutions. The 5 line kind of provides the ability to see what needs changing, while the line 2 brings in natural talents to help them develop those solutions. I like to say that the 5-2, these are individuals who see universal problems and develop solutions in privacy. And they often face a lot of high expectations because remember that 5 line is in front. That 5 line is conscious. People are going to assume that they have all of the answers and they're going to look to them. And then the 2 line is like, oh, I got to go retreat to figure this out. They have another kind of high expectation for people needing to see what they know, but they need time to retreat to figure it out. Then their natural gifts, they have a talent for seeing and solving problems, but they need privacy to do these things. They also have the capacity to transform solutions when they are ready. Yeah, when they're ready. And they have a skill at navigating projections while maintaining their boundaries, which is really important. For relationships, the 5-2 needs partners who understand their problem-solving nature and their need for privacy. I like 5-2s with people who can kind of step in for them and take over. That's what I like. Because while they're in their like private times and developing stuff, their partners can just say, okay, come to me, like their shield in a way. Some of the career paths that I really love for 5-2s are research scientists, anything that has to do with research, any type of technical expert, any type of consultant that has to prepare and show something. And of course, therapists, because they have very unique and different healing approaches. Now let's talk about the 6-2, the role model hermit. Let me tell you something. I love a 6-2 man. I really do. I love 6-2s for various reasons, and a lot of my friends are 6-2s. I love 6-2s. So the 6-2 provides that combination of wisdom through that 6 line and then the natural genius of the 2 line. And you're getting like a naturally gifted individual who like moves through life in their phases, and they need privacy to develop their wisdom. Now, the only downside that I have for 6-2s is, well, this is personal and this is regarding men, is when you are you got to figure out what phase they are before you get into a relationship with them. And I think it's the same for women too. You have to figure out what phases they're in to get into a relationship. If you want me to do a video on that, I will. Because if you get them at a phase that doesn't benefit you, it's a wrap. Anyway, but the 6-2 has a unique journey because they develop wisdom through privacy. They have periodic emergence, periodic wisdom, periodic leadership, and they provide this path for themselves to becoming a natural authority in something, while that line 2 brings out their natural talents and abilities. When we talk about their natural gifts, they have a need for privacy while developing their wisdom. They also have the capacity to emerge as a role model over time. It's not instantaneously. They have to go back and look at things. They have skills at sharing accumulated wisdom appropriately when it's time. 6-2s and 3-5s go hand in hand for relationships, but what a 6-2 really needs is partners who understand their need for privacy while they're on their journey. That's why I said anytime you're dating a 6-2, you need to find out where or what stage they are at on their journey. Because if they're in a stage that doesn't benefit everyone else or doesn't benefit for a partnership, whether that's platonic, romantic, or professional partnership, it might not work because they often become relationship guides or the leader of the relationship, but it has to develop over time and through wisdom. If you find them or meet them when they are not there yet, it ain't gonna work. In my opinion, it's not gonna work. Some of the career paths for 6-2s: writers, teachers, counselors, mentors, anything in that where they are using their natural gifts and the talents to provide wisdom to people. Then we have the 6-3, which is the role model martyr. The 6-3, very interesting. The 6th line is about, of course, the wisdom, and then the 3 is about experimenting. Here's where I feel that 6-3s kind of make it bad for themselves. They ignore the 3 line altogether. They just go into that journey of authority and leadership before they try things out. Sometimes they skip that step. So they have to experiment and know that experimentation does not take anything away from you. It adds to your leadership. It adds to your ability to do stuff, to show us things, for us to learn, all of that. I like 6-3s. I like 6-3s to experiment and then teach us, because they have the ability to transform any type of experience that they go through into a natural wisdom. They also have a lot of courage because they're experimenting a lot through their life phases. The 6-3 line experiments a lot through different life phases, and they have the capacity to share, their successes and their weaknesses. And they have a talent for guiding others to do the same. Now, in relationships, I like 3-6s to have partners who are fun, who are experimental, who kind of keep it light, and then go into like the depth part of the relationship. So I'm not gonna lie, sometimes I call 6-3s very superficial and very surface level when it comes to romantic partnerships, but they need that in the beginning. They need lots of fun, light, airy fairy, we're just having a good time kind of vibes, and then it turns into something deep. For career paths, they make great life coaches, mentors, teachers, authors, all of that stuff. Understanding your profile is one thing, and living in it authentically is another. Profiles with lines 1, they need to create structures that support your need for research, for thorough research, developing systems, allowing time to properly investigate something, to trust your instinct and your intuition, to build foundations, to share your knowledge when you're ready. For profile lines 2, you have to honor the natural rhythm of engagement and retreat. You have to create sacred spaces for yourself in your home for you to go, develop, think, have insights, all of that. You have to trust when it's time to share your ideas, your gifts, your thoughts, views, and opinions. You don't need to force anything, okay? You have to do things when you feel available, when you feel ready. And you have to allow recognition to come naturally from people. Do not seek recognition out. It will come for you. Then for profile lines 3, you have to embrace your experimental nature. Don't make any thoughts, views, or opinions until you have experienced the thing. Once you've experienced it once, twice, 3, 4 times, you are an expert, okay? You're an expert of yourself. People want to know your experience. View your challenges as experiences that you can gain value from. Keep a track of what you learned from your failures. This is somewhere where you can teach from. Allow yourself to try new approaches and new things and be open-minded to stuff. And then share your wisdom when you gain that experience. For my line 4s, please, please, please embrace your networking abilities, your networking energy. I like to say that line 4s, you need to collect people throughout your life, cultivate meaningful connections, share opportunities with yourself, with those around you. You need to create systems for maintaining relationships. So maybe you have a calendar where you remember everyone's birthday. That is something great for someone who has a line 4 in their profile. And you have to trust your intuition that the connections that are right for you are always going to show up and they're always going to stay. For line 5s, for profiles with line 5s, you have to navigate that heretical energy very wisely, meaning that Document any solutions that emerge, any downloads that you get from spirit, from source, from God, whatever you call him or her. You have to create boundaries so people don't project their experiences onto you. You also have to trust your capacity to see what needs changing without feeling like you are wrong. If you have a 5 line in your profile, you have to have some trust in your knowledge. You have to believe in yourself. You have to. And you have to share solutions when they are ready, when they're practical and when they're ready. Sometimes 5s can go over people's heads, but it is what it is. Okay. And then for profiles with 6 lines, you have to honor your journey. You have to recognize and accept wherever you are at in life. So if you are in a learning phase, you're in a learning phase. If you are in an abundant phase, you're in an abundant phase. Wherever you are at, you have to honor that. And then you have to trust that you're going to naturally progress over time. You're not going to be an overnight success. That's not what is, if you got a 6 line in your profile, you're not going to be an overnight success. It's going to be a journey. You have to share wisdom as it matures naturally for you. But your profile line is not a limitation. It's just a description of the how you do things. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share this video. And if you have any questions about your human design profile, put it in the comments and I will answer those questions. If you want to book a session with me, make sure you go to my website at www.acbrown.com/work with me, where you can find out all the information on how to work with me, whether that is a simple mediumship psychic reading or a voice of truth session where we talk to spirit ancestors and we also look at your astrological and your human design chart to create a plan for you to thrive in your life. Or you can reach out to me if you're looking for long-term coaching where you're ready for transformation. So I want to thank you so much for tuning into my channel and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.